2, 3, 4.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Power of Music Thinking. My name is Christoph Zirn, and this is the podcast for people with a musical heart and a wicked job. We're looking for stories, insights and tools from the big world of music to inspire leaders and followers to listen, tune, play and perform in whatever field you're operating. One word before we start this episode. Did you know that only a few people who regularly listen to the podcast are subscribers? So please, if you like the show and want to learn from some of the most exciting people in the world with practical tips and inspiring stories that will benefit your personal and business life, stop this recording now and hit the subscribe button. It helps a lot to share the power of music thinking and will keep the show free of charge. Thank you. Today we're in Mumbai. We talk with Jeena Earthiva. Jeena is a transformational coach, a producer with a master's degree in computer science, an ex-Bollywood singer, the founder of Conscious Music Code, and a mind DJ. Jeena conveys her story of a successful Bollywood singer who lost her voice at the top of the singing career and how she found and developed the Conscious Music Code that helped her to get back on track and start a new career. We talk about the broad field of music between India and the West and analogies between music and business, and the Koan of her mentor, Dr Daisaku Ikeda, which became her life motto, transforming the life state of humankind. And be prepared for a 6-minute mind hack exercise at the end of the recording that Jeena is performing for us. So lean back and enjoy. And if you're listening in from the car, we suggest that you take a break or do the exercise at another moment. All right, let's get into it. Hello, Jeena. Welcome to the Power of Music Thinking.
Wow, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Great to have you. By the way, where are you calling in from? Where are you in the world?
I'm calling in from Mumbai at this point, but I'll be very soon close to where you are in Belgium. Yeah,
in Belgium.
But for now in Mumbai.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's quite... What's your time now?
So it's 1:57 p.m. India time.
All right. So it's 3.5 hours in between. Yes. Great. Yes. So you're off. Nice. Do you know, with the power of music thinking, I always have one question in the beginning. So every listener already knows what the question will be. So it's like, what was your first sonic experience or record or live performance that had an impact on you?
It was... is it okay if I say it was something live? It doesn't have to be.
It's up to you. You just answer my complicated question.
So when I was growing up, it was my grandmom singing. She used to sing these kinds of songs. Some of it was religious songs, or sometimes Rabindra Sangeet, which is a form of music. We can get into that separately. But she used to sing that on her harmonium, the instrument. And I would sit next to her and she would sing. And that just, that because you are asked from the perspective of sonic experience, that just did it for me. Her voice was reverberating through the natural reverberation of the room and the sound of the harmonium. And she had a very raw, authentic voice, and that, and a very powerful one. And it did things within me, which I don't know how to explain, but it got me into that mode of being really honest in my expression of music, which I think now I use. And the second thing that worked was when I was growing up again, my dad used to be sailing. He was a radio officer in the Merchant Navy, and he got all these tapes, like those cassettes he would record from the radios. And he got this Barbara Streisand Woman in Love song. I mean, there were many songs in that cassette, but that one, I went on and on and on listening to it. So on the one hand, I had this completely raw Indian influence. The other hand, I had Barbara Streisand. Yeah.
That's already a beautiful soundscape we can imagine now. So what you say, that ancient, can I call it ancient indigenous folk?
Yeah.
Is it folk music?
So some of it was folk, and some of it was written by Rabindranath Tagore, who won the Nobel Prize for Literature. He had this huge, he's got a whole Bible of music, you can say, like poetry, music, and everything. And in Calcutta, where I grew up, his work is like worshipped, and it's worshipped quite globally also on many levels. But his music is a genre by itself. So she would sing either that or folk music. And yeah, it was very raw. Whatever it was very raw and real. I didn't even understand the words. They were difficult words, but I just know the feeling of it,
Yeah, that's important. That's important to hear the sound, the sound of the words. In one of the podcasts earlier, we also talked about sound healing. Funny enough, and there it was like the holy words. So they're not just words with a meaning, but the way how you pronounce them, how you speak them, already has an influence on the body. So
very much.
And I'm very much drawn to that part, because in the power of music thinking, or in the power of music, I also want to show, or to let people listen, the very broad field of what's possible. It's not only pop music or jazz or rock or hip hop or classical music. And last time I made a little mistake when I said that Ravi Shankar is folk music. So, but it's not. It's classical Indian music.
Yeah.
And this also means that we don't hear on, I would say, on Spotify or on the radio, music that is maybe not meant to be recorded, but live.
Exactly. In fact, I wanted, before you ask me anything else, I want to first say something about you. And when I came across your profile and your website, and I was just like, does this man really exist? Because when I saw this name, music thinking, I said, wow, like this needs to get really loud. Everybody in the world needs to know this term and the work you're doing. Then I said, okay, I'm thinking that music thinking is about this, but let's read what this man is actually doing. And then I read, and then I found, wow, so much resonance in what's cooking in my head and what you've been doing. It's amazing. And the fact that you talk to people from across the globe with that very universal, intuitive understanding of things, and then bringing it into real life or into some sort of execution in whatever walks of life they are in. This is amazing. So thank you for bringing me into that family of people that are doing this through your podcast.
Thank you. It's like a frequency. So when you're on that frequency, a lot of things is going on, and if you're not tuned on it, you might never
miss it.
Hear about it. What I like from what you just said with your sonic experiences, there's already, let's say, like the one and the other. Let's say the old, and the pop, and the new. And I like this very much, because life is not one dimensional. So we always have something that's in between. And but maybe you can also share with us, you're a singer, or you was a singer, a special one. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes. If, as you can make out from my early influences of music that I received, when I went into singing, I didn't do it very consciously. I would just sing at home. And my parents tried to train me through singing teachers. In my culture, like where I come from, before you learn ABCD, you must know Saregama, like the notes of music,
How is it called? Sarigama?
is Saregama-pa-dha-ni-sa. So it's like do re mi fa sol la. So it's called Saregama-pa-dha-ni-sa. And you have to know that before you learn ABCD. It's like that. Specifically in the part of India where I come from. Not that every Indian family works like this. Also, that's a different topic, how India works. It's like so many countries and one is India. It's like that. Culturally, it feels like that. Anyway, so they tried training me in singing, and I would literally drive away my teachers because I hated the pure conventional approach. Okay, here's the note. Now you sing sa, and match your voice to the. I would get a headache. And why I'm sharing this is you will understand it later. When I went into singing, it happened through dance and piano. So the singing was like a side thing that was just there. I didn't care much about it. It was just there as talent I just had. So, we're not always very appreciative of what we have. So I just treated it like a side thing. I was more interested in dancing. I used to do Kathak, Indian classical Kathak dance. It's a kind of Indian classical dance. And I would play the piano. I learned piano, the Western classical piano format. So that I really enjoyed because my teacher was really great. But then somewhere when the school, college festivals would happen, I would end up winning the first prize, singing songs and playing them on the piano. And that got me thinking, hey, I'm not bad at singing. I'm winning these contests, etc. So in my education, I took up computer science and went on to do masters. But while my college education was going on, I already started getting calls for singing in some films. And in India, if you sing in films, somehow that is considered great. So, because we have a lot of film music, which is music made only for the film. Anyway, so I got calls, but my voice was always like a mix of whatever I had heard. And what I had heard was music from everywhere. I did not understand this idea of genres or this. I just knew whatever worked for me. Like if it touched me, it touched me. Full stop. I will not dissect it and figure out, okay, what is this? So I just went with it. And so when my first recording, I just sang in a tone, and this music composer, he was like, what style? I said, I don't know what style this is. This is just me. And that's how I ended up singing the first Spanish Bengali song. So we had a part in Spanish and we had a part in Bengali. And from there, I won some awards and I started getting calls in singing. Then I went into Bollywood singing. But
what's Bollywood? Maybe not every listener knows what Bollywood is.
Knows what is Bollywood. I will tell you.
And so if you can explain a little bit what it is and where it's used.
Exactly. Like I said, that in India, film music is considered the most important kind of music. Sadly, that should not be so, but that's how it is. So Bollywood is the entire industry, the film industry in India, which is the financially strong industry in India. Let's say it like that. There are smaller film industries, regional film industries, but those are not considered Bollywood. Bollywood is like huge budget films, huge. And with all these stars coming in. So what we call as Bollywood music is basically music that is made for Bollywood films. So like that, kind of like they took it. I don't know if they took it from Hollywood and must have, but that's what it is. And I got my Bollywood break and singing looked like it was going to be my thing. So I was traveling, performing, feeling great. But I was not getting to do the kind of singing or the kind of music that was in my soul, because I was always singing for the film or singing for a music composer's idea.
How did that work? Did you see the film and you sang while you saw the scenery, or was it just a music production?
Yeah, so they would always make songs for various scenes, and then somebody would have composed that song, and they would have tried different singers' voices on that song, and then if your voice matched the character or whatever that situation the best, then they would select you. And I somehow just never got to express what was inside me. And so then I started trying to do some stuff on YouTube, but then you don't have any money coming in from your own independent work. There's no construct for making it work like that. So I just continued to be in this industry and singing the stuff that everybody sings. And it was good, but also very frustrating because I had a different version of me inside. Yeah.
All right.
Do you want me to sing something for you from that raw?
Absolutely. I think every listener is longing for. Let's give it a try, how it works via Zoom.
True. In fact, to be honest, I actually am doing this selfishly because, like I said, now, of course, I want everyone to experience it. But at the same time, as I said, I didn't get to explore much of it earlier. For many years of my life, I didn't get to sing what I wanted to sing. So now that's changed. But I just feel like doing it for myself and also for everyone. So I'm shamelessly proposing that I sing.
Please do.
Okay, so I'm going to sing for you a folk song, a Bengali folk song. And I'm going to mix it with a Persian poem by Rumi, which is, of course, in Farsi. And I'm just going to sing a little bit just to give you a taste of it. Yeah, on Zoom, let's hope the audio is clear enough. Shabaloke koela halon ki zan shamsharin. Shabaloke koela halon ki zan shamsharin. Lano no bale sater kiro, plano no bale. Lano no bale sater kiro, deklam na eno jore. Shabaloke koela halon ki zan shamsharin. Nasharviya na barviya na barviya na bahriya na amskane shabiyam na zafa ke garad কেহু মালা কেহু তসবি গলে তাই তোরে জাত ভিন্ন বলে কেহু মালা কেহু তসবি গলে তাই তোরে জাত ভিন্ন বলে যাওয়া কিংবা আসার বেলায় জাতের চিহ্ন রয় কারে সব লোকে কয় লালন কি জাত সংসারে
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I could have sung you a Bollywood song, but you hear that kind of stuff if you go on YouTube. But this you will not find so easily.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you very much for sharing this with us. And it does with me a lot of associations. So you get an idea, you get from your song, it triggers something in your mind where you see something. And that's really beautiful. Nice.
So what did you see? Sorry.
It opens up. For me, it opened up more like, now I'm in the middle of a city, but as soon as I heard this, I had a different view, but it was not like that literally. So it was like, it gave a lot of space. And that's very nice. And I also it's not only how you said it, the sarigama or
sarigama, yeah.
Sarigama. So, but there are also some tones in between, and that's
exactly
very interesting. So, with a Western ear, you would say, or if you would
think it's out of tune, yeah.
Yeah, or you can't find them on the piano because they're in between the keys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very interesting for a Western ear to understand. Life is not just like, let's say, a keyboard with 88 keys.
Yes.
And so there is more in between, and we have to listen more closely. So that's a great message.
It's amazing that you picked up on that. And that again shows me the kind of education you've had and the kind of execution you've done of that a deeper, profound understanding of music that you bring into life, that you could pick up on that idea of the in-between notes. And when I started recording, that's exactly what my first composer, who I was recording for, said, that, hey, do you realize what you're doing? I said, what? I don't know. I came in like I was like, how to explain? Like, I was like some just girl who just walked into the studio. I didn't care what would happen. And so I was very raw and real. And he said, you touched in between pitches. And did you do that purposely? I mean, intentionally? Because that's really hard to do. I said, I really don't know. It just comes out like that. And that is what helped me make a mark in the singing world, that I could do this stuff effortlessly. But I think for my soul, the way I'm wired to see reality has a lot to do with this, and vice versa, because I can recognize it, exactly what you said, that there are things in between that you have to be, you don't have to be, it's just you miss out on things if you're not willing to see what's in the spaces.
Yeah, in music thinking, I'm using music and push it a little bit further and to say hey, are there analogies in the real world? It's like if Western people go to a different country,
yes.
And they just listen, let's say, to use this picture, and they just use their 88 keys of the piano. Oh. And they're always saying, oh, that's not right. Oh, that's different. That's not okay. So it's like something, maybe forget your frame, literally, of the keys and try to listen in a different way, and then go together and see what you can do with them.
Yes.
In the middle of your career, of your singing career, you lost your voice.
Yeah. Horrible. That was horrible. Yeah, so my name at the time was Sukanya Ghosh. That's my original name. And I was using, I had heard this many times in my life. Oh, Sukanya, the amazing singer. Oh, Sukanya, who can do this kind of singing. Unknowingly or knowingly, that becomes your identity, right? That this is your name, and this is what you do. You equate the two, and you think this is what there is to life. And so when suddenly I couldn't sing, my voice was sounding horrible. I went to the doctor and I tried figuring out whether it's a throat infection or something. They gave me some medicines. They said it would be okay, but it never came back. So I could speak, but I sounded like really bad, grungy. That is not a good grunge, a bad grunge voice. I say that I used to sound like a goat. It was exactly like that. My own voice, the sound of my own voice depressed me. Like, it would scare me. Like, how can I sound like this? Sukanya, the amazing singer. And that kept ringing in my head, right? Because I remember the sounds of the applauses I've got, or the things people say about me or write about me, blah, blah. And then I realized what happens when all that is stripped away from you. Life just decides to pull it out. That was the beginning of my rediscovery or my rebirth, or that was actually the most horrible and yet the most beautiful phase of my life. Like, I started with the duality. It's again the same thing. Do you want me to share what happened after that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it also reminds me to make it closer to our listener. It's like, imagine you're good at something. You have a career. People recognize you and pay you for what you're good at.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, pull the plug.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work anymore. So how does the story go further?
Yeah, exactly. And I was looking at the faces of these doctors and the results of my throat, what do you call that? Endoscopy, where they put the camera in. And 3 times they did that. And their faces looked the same. They said, we can see that your vocal cords are not closing, to make the right sounds, but we don't know what's causing it. And the same confused look that made me feel so hopeless at the time. So I would come back home, cry again, come back home, cry. That was my life. But then after a while, I just stopped everything, stopped going to these doctors. And they were really good doctors. They were not like small. They were actually the best in the country that I went to, and still nothing. So I came back and I got depressed. Slowly, I went down the spiral, which kept pulling me into a horrible, dark place. And anxiety attacks, insomnia, couldn't digest food, my hair was falling. I was waking up somehow like a zombie. I would just move to the house, and there was only one thing I used to do, which was my Buddhist chanting, which I do. And that also, usually when in my normal state, I would be very determined, in the sound of the chanting is sound of determination, not waiting for universe to drop some magic on you, but really determining to create a difference. So it's a very beautiful practice. But at that time, I couldn't see the beauty. I could just make the sound. And I chanted like a zombie. That's how I was. And I would chant for hours because there's nothing to do. And I would just cry, chant, somehow manage to eat some boiled food, which would still not go down very well. This was my state. But there was a line that I came across by my mentor, Dr. Daisaku Ikeda. He's a peace activist, and also he's a founder or the president of Soka Gakkai, the organization that taught me the Buddhist practice. So he said that we've got to transform the life state of humankind. And that line was so beautiful, transforming the life state of humankind. And in Buddhism, life state is an internal thing, not what is happening in life, but what is happening in your inner life. Wow. Now, at the time, I hated that line because it was like, hello, you want me to do something for the life state of humankind, but my inner life state, my own life state is horrible. Like, I have no life state. I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. So I really wanted to get rid of that line in my head. But like, it's like seeing the pink elephant when you're told not to see the pink elephant, and you just see just that, right? I just went on and on, hearing it like a sound loop, like on a music production software, when you make a loop and you just loop it and you loop it and you loop it, it just like plays it.
I think they call it Koan in Buddhism. So they give you one sentence to think about, and it could take years to get out of it. So out of it. What was the escape, or what was the moment where it changed?
So this went on in my sleep. I wasn't sleeping, but this was one of the reasons I wasn't sleeping. This line, at the time it was the stupidest line in the world. But no, this line changed my life. So after a while, I just got up from my bed and my desk. Sorry, I'm dramatizing this, but this is exactly how it was. No exaggeration. I got up from my bed, somehow dragged my body to the desk where my computer was, had this Logic Pro software installed. I had no clue how to make music or produce music. I was always the artist and the performer and this and that, but I hated all this technical stuff like press buttons and this and that. I hated it. So the person who hated all this, she went and sat, and I started producing music. Now, I don't know why I was doing that. All I knew was I had to do something with music, but I couldn't sing. And it seemed like I had to make music to transform the life state of humankind. That's how it got connected. And it was so crazy because I don't know anything. I don't have any training. But after a few weeks of doing that, like with no purpose, I just knew somehow that line has to come true through my music. It was really funny. The voice in my head was like, who the hell do you think you are? You have learned nothing about all this and you want to transform. There are people who are music therapists. They have been learning this for years. And who the hell do you think you are? And then I came across this very simple idea, which I think all of us know, but we've never seen it like this, is that, like you said, when I sang the song, you saw a more expanded version of reality. You got out of the typical city, whatever. So the idea was this. You hear a certain sound, and that can trigger you to go to a certain memory or thought or an emotion, whatever it is for you. It can even take you to a bad place, right? But then you add another layer of let's say a piano takes you somewhere, then you add the guitar or then the drums. With each layer of sound, if you intentionally add it, you can send your mind to different places with each sound. And at the end, you get a combination how we mix our songs where we level different instruments and then we EQ them. You can literally EQ your mind and the thoughts in your mind. And then if you repeat it without even consciously thinking of the thought, if you hear the same sound, your mind automatically remembers what it had thought of the first time. So that's why sometimes a very sad song can bring a very happy memory just because something very happy happened when the sad song was playing in the background. So it's just the power of association. Such a simple idea. But then I took it further, and went deeper into it. And then what I started doing was I was DJing with the thoughts in my mind, literally playing with it. Even the negative, I was not trying to avoid negative thoughts and say, oh, let's just heal my mind magically. No, I was playing with the negative thoughts. And then I just reduced their volume, It's as simple as that. Reduce the volume of the negative thoughts or reduce the impact of the negative feelings.
So literally like on a mixer, you just...
Exactly.
You
just on a mixer.
Fader in a different position.
That's it. Or you like EQ it and then garble the things that were too loud and just garble it and then bring it down and then just make it fade away. And I said, hey, this is really cool. And then suddenly I started enjoying the technical side to music. It's funny even saying that because at the time I hated it so much, but now I was enjoying it. And after 3 years of playing with this, and 3 years is the total timeline from meeting the doctors for the first time. And then I got back my voice completely. I got back my health. I got back my mental health. I was seeing the world with a whole new light. And I told the industry people, hey, I'm back into singing. And so I went back to singing. Took some time to go back into the industry. But even though I went back to singing, something inside me now was exposed to such a more profound reality of music that I wanted to do that. But I was like, people will think I'm crazy. Some of my friends said, listen, don't go into all this spiritual, motivational, all this stuff. This will, typecast you into that. Just keep doing your normal singing. It's giving you good money. It's letting you travel across the world. You have a good name for yourself. Forget all this. Do it for yourself on the side, And that's what I did. And then 2019, 2019, at some point, I felt my head would break and explode if I didn't tell people what I had discovered during those 3 years. That was the birth of my new name, Jeena Earthiva, and the concept Conscious Music Code.
Is there a story about the name?
Oh, yeah. The Jeena is my nickname. In India, we use a lot of nicknames. So Jeena was always my nickname, and it means to live. But Earthiva is a word I created. Okay, I coined that term because I wanted a word. I wanted my surname to be something that was very all-encompassing, very universal, where I would not be restricted to one genre or one country or one culture or truly a global citizen committed to helping humankind. That's what my mentors asked me to do. So Earthiva is earth, and Eva is, I think, blessing in Greek or something. Anyway, it sounded really cool, rhymed with Shiva, which is, again, something I really like. And
a good association.
Yeah. And in Buddhism, we learned the concept of bodhisattva of the earth. So Bodhisattva is a person who can help others while also taking care of his or her own problems. And Bodhisattvas of the earth were these special disciples of the Buddha, who he reserved his final teaching for. And these were people with ordinary problems. They were very earthly and they had not much of great spiritual knowledge, but they had the heart and the heart of courage, the heart of compassion to serve the world, without pretending to be high standing or like somebody great. They were really from the earth. So that concept stayed with me. So I'm a bodhisattva of the earth, Jeena Earthiva, want to serve the world with music.
Beautiful story, and you make this now into your work. So what I also hear is these two sides. So like we had in the beginning of our conversation, let's say the ancient grandma songs, and also from the daddy side, the popular music. But as you said, you also studied computer science, so I think it's not so unlogical that you pick up something like logic in this case, and make something with it, and that the doing is actually and also a bit of perseverance, just going on and making it, and while making, actually maybe without knowing, coming to a different place. And now you offer this also to everyone in the world, and maybe that's something that where we discussed. So to give us some kind of examples of a life hack, maybe people who are listening now say, "Oh, that's an interesting story, but it's so far away." And
how do we do it?
And so you call it mind DJing or life hack, or what is it? More, and then we would like to hear an example of it.
Exactly, because I always say everything should be experiential. Like, otherwise, what's the point? Like, right? We can just keep talking theory. I call it like mind hacks, which are, so people ask me, hey, is your work like music meditation? Is it like sound healing? Is it a meditation? Is it a binaural beats? Is it this? So I always tell them, I had to coin a new term to separate myself from that category of things. And not that is not useful. That's very powerful. But what I want to do is help people who have crazy, difficult, busy lives and make the profound wisdom that I gained through my horrible period available in a simple, easy way that anyone, anywhere can do. And this is why, so the technique is called Conscious Music Code. It's also the name of my company, my website, everything. But inside that, I hack into your mind for 5 minutes or something like that. And even in 30 seconds, things can happen. And I do the DJing a little bit, and then you feel great. So that's the idea. And then this can be used for personal development, can be used for workplace benefits, and that we can go into later. But let me demonstrate it. So, okay, let's say we are going to start with a very, let me try to play it like this. See if you hear this sound. And of course, we're doing this on Zoom. The sound quality is not really great, but at least it'll give you an idea of what the music hacks or the mind hacks are like. So as you hear the sound, you may choose to close your eyes and just be in this moment for a little bit. Breathe in and out at a very normal, relaxed pace. And let the sound be absorbed by not just your ears, but also through your body. And when you have that, I'm going to play you a new sound. So as you hear this rhythmic thing, I want you to think of something that was a little stressful in the recent past, a situation where things were not very good and you were feeling slightly uncomfortable. Just notice the emotions in your body as you watch that scene playing out in front of you. Notice your facial expressions, who all were there around you, how they made you feel. And now we're going to shake it all off. So just shake your body, shake your head, your neck, your shoulders, just shake it all off because we don't want to be in a negative place. We want to change that. So once you've shaken it off, here we go. Now pay attention to the sparkly new sound. And as you listen to it, feel like you're in a place where there's these sparkling lights and they symbolize hope. And think of one situation in your life where you felt really hopeful. Like you felt, hey, there's something new that can happen here. New beginnings, new possibilities, and you felt like you have hope in your heart to move forward. And associate that hope, the feeling of hope, in your body with this sound. And then I'm going to add these violins on top of that sparkly sound. As you listen to the sound of these violins, think of a person, a book, a quote, or a movie that has inspired you. The moment you think of this thing, this person, movie, book, whatever, instantly you feel energized and inspired or motivated. Take that feeling of motivation and inspiration into your body and connect it to the sound of these violins. And imagine you're moving forward. So if you're sitting or you're standing, wherever you are, just tap your feet on the floor and think that you're taking steps to move forward with this inspiration, with this motivation, with the image of someone or something that pulls you in the direction of your growth. With hope in your heart and inspiration in your soul. Now, we're going to add another layer of beats. This beat is symbolizing your courage, your self-confidence. One time in your life where you felt like, hey, I can do this. Feel that in your body right now and keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Now you can start moving your body in any way you like and just move with it, move with it, move with it. And then at the end, you're going to enter a bubble of all these positive emotions. You have the hope, you have the inspiration, and you have the self-confidence and the courage to do what you really want to do, to feel what you really want to feel. And inside this bubble, it's like a spiraling bubble, and you're moving up, you're spiraling up. Inside this bubble, it is you who decides how you want to feel. All situations, all people, all things, they try to come close to you, but this bubble bounces off everything that you don't need. You're at the epicenter of this energetic circle, and you're building up your happiness and your joy. And now, when you feel truly energized and you move with the music, I'm going to take you back to the same situation that troubled you. Here we go. Now you hear a different sound, the rhythm that we used to think of the negative situation. Now notice how you feel in that same situation when I play this in your head. The same situation, but you enter the situation with a much more positive state of mind. And that's it. So you've got the power to decide how you feel. And stay with the music, stay with the feeling. Let whatever is happening happen, but you know that you feel great inside. So as I fade out, hold the feeling, hold the feeling, hold the feeling. And when you're ready to come back to the real world, feel free to open your eyes slowly.
Beautiful. Nice. Thank you, Jeena, for giving us this live demonstration. It was really nice. And maybe I should have done a disclaimer. So if you listen to this podcast in the car, that you either stop or maybe be aware to not go too deep. It also is, for me, it combines two different things like technique and technology.
Absolutely.
And the technique and the knowing of these ancient things, how melodies, how harmony, how things can be connected. It's like you prime an experience with a sound, and then later you use the sound to call it up. That's a very nice technique, and the technology that helps to bring it all together. So it's like a little bit like the grandma and
exactly
the computer science together. So thank you very much, Jeena. That was really great to hear. And I will put some information into the show notes. And what would be the best to contact you?
So first, I will just say that if anybody wants to experience these tools at home or wherever they are, they can go to my website www.consciousmusiccode.com, where you can. I'm going to be starting subscription soon, so you can subscribe. Till then, you can still buy little programs and hacks that work. So that's the way to experience this. And to contact me, I'm always available on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, or you can email me. It's the same name. It's Jeena Earthiva everywhere, so you can contact me anytime.
Perfect. We'll put everything in the show notes so people don't get confused and they can just click on it. Thank you very much, Jeena, and good luck with everything. It really sounded great. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate this because listening is one of the top leadership skills, and I feel honored about this. It is my mission to find, create, and share inspirations for meaningful collaboration based on music analogies. If you want to support this, please subscribe to the podcast, give us a rating, or write a review on iTunes or Spotify. And more inspirations can be found on musicthinking.com. We have a blog, and you can download the Music Thinking Framework. And finally, I would love to hear your feedback. And if you need help with a business challenge, please reach out to me via email, podcast@musicthinking.com.